tuned in to the Ambition Hour podcast on Worth the Wait Radio. You ready?
Dub T motherfucking dub, ho.
Yo, and welcome to the Ambition Hour podcast. It's your girl, Audi 3000, and this is episode 99. What? Yes, sir. We out here, episode 99. It's your girl, Audi 3000. Welcome, kings and queens, yet again to another beautiful episode of the Ambition Hour podcast. As you can see, I am alone. And if you are listening to us, I am letting you know that I am alone. It's a solo episode. Y'all get me alone before episode 100, which is next episode. Whoa. It hits me like every time. Like whenever that conversation has ever happened about episode 100, it's the same reaction every single time. It's like laughs nervously. Cuz it's kind of crazy. Especially just knowing everything that we have done and what we have been through. And yeah, I'm really excited. If you are listening to us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you listen to us, I appreciate you. If you listen to us or if you're watching us on YouTube, hey, I made it, bitches. We at episode 99. We got 99 problems, but episode ain't one. Talk about it. Damn. You know how to say that. I have been practicing that shit too. But yes, so if you're watching us, if this is your first time here, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and join the WTW fam. If you want all things WTW, all you gotta do is head on over to the website, which is WTWrecords.com. I want to start off by saying shout out to Hav, who was in the building with me. It is. Should I tell them the time, Hav? It is 1:54 a.m. and I have to be up tomorrow at like 6:30 because I have to go be somewhere at 8 o'clock. So this is a week ago. I am here from the past. I don't like doing these type of episodes, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and I need to make sure that I was transparent with you guys. Made sure to change outfits though because aesthetics. You feel me? I did that for the New York episodes, and I was like, "What? You're wilding out here." Okay, so I do, and always to start the episode with saying what I am grateful for, and I am grateful for the vision that 12-year-old me had because it came true, and that's what I'm grateful for. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for 12-year-old me, I wouldn't be here right now. And I'm just happy that I can make her proud. Because, girl, it took us a while. But we're out here and we're doing it. We've done it for 99 episodes. And I am so grateful to everyone. Like, hello. Like, of course, how can I not, like, say that as well? But we'll save that for an episode 100. Because definitely 12-year-old me for having the vision of just like being in front of the mic and talking and presenting music videos and music and songs and all that shit, and I'm doing it now and it's just awesome. And like I get to interview artists, like local talent, like independent artists, DJs, and I get to also be part of other people's podcasts, and just it just opened up a different world for me, and I am so grateful for that. So shout out to 12-year-old Claudia. You was on to something. That's when I did also got the Audi nickname when I was like 12 years old. Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about right. Okay, so I definitely wanted to start off the episode with something that was really cool to me that happened. Jay-Z named Desiree Perez the CEO of Rock Nation. And many of you may not know who that is. Many of you may know who it is. But she actually has been working with Jay-Z for a very long time. She was one of the people that started the 40/40 Club with him. So she's been very prominent in his business ventures and has always worked like her husband is the head of Rock Nation Sports, and I personally have heard about this woman before. Like I heard about her because of like friends, because it would be like, oh, so and so, like her, their mom is, her. And then it never clicked until today when I was like looking at the information, because I read an article of hers, and I actually read it because I really like reading those type of articles, especially she's a Latina. She's the CEO of, Rock Nation now. She's a woman, and in the interview she talks about how, sometimes she's had to be the only woman in, a room, a boardroom, a meeting of 30 men, and then even being the minority because she's a Latina, and how now it's being talked about, but that how that hasn't really changed, like when it comes to that, like the minority, and then even like just women in general. And yeah, so it was just really it was really cool that he he like gave her that title, because that just shows, I when women get like good positions, it's one because of course they us women, we're like, as far as work ethic goes, we're very driven, we're very ambitious, we're very focused. We can focus on what we're doing and also multitask. So of course when you have a woman in your corner, like, hello, you're bound to win. But there's some men who find it hard to do that, who find it hard to trust a woman to be the CEO of their company that they've built, you know what I mean, from the beginning. But I read that she actually booked him back like in the day, like in like 1996. She booked him to be a performer at like one of the places that I guess she was working at, because she worked at like clubs. And then she went on to like, cause first she was helping like her dad with like his business that he had when she was younger, and then she went on to like becoming a manager for like clubs, and then she ended up going into the whole business venture of the 4040 Club with her husband and Jay-Z. And so he has known her for such a long time, because obviously when I hear that I'm like, okay, so why does Jay-Z trust her? Like what like what where does this stem from? Because being a CEO, like I feel like that's such a big like accomplishment, and it's that to me was pretty cool. So then getting to read the article, and I found out through reading the article that she's a very hard person to get to interview. That like people have been like trying to interview her for the past like 8 years, and I guess the reason why she wanted to like even talk about that was because like even do an interview was because she wanted like people to like know, I guess, like now where Rock Nation was going to be going, how she felt about some of the certain things that they did, and kind of like secure what Rock Nation is going to be in the next decade, basically. And that's so dope that Rock Nation, like, because just when you think about Rock Nation, it stems from Rockefeller. Like obviously, like it stems from that. Like that's what kind of like Rock Nation is what transpired from that. And they have the management, they have the sports management, they have different artists that are under, and then they have like they have the labels that are branches of theirs. And where was I going with that? Oh, with Rockefeller,
The
right?
connection, yeah.
And then dang. Okay, because it's Rockefeller, and so it's like Rock Nation. Your girl forgot. I was so excited. I'm so excited because this really like inspired the hell out of me, because I'm like, oh shit, like she's out here running things. Like it's just so inspiring, and how a woman like had went from it's just hard work, man. Like sometimes like people don't understand why people get certain titles, or why they move the way they move in their life, and why they move up. And it's just like because they're working, they're putting all the limits to the side. Like it's like there's no limits, like we're just going to continue going until we reach to the top. And what's the top? We don't know. But we gonna find out. And so I'm a really big fan of that, because that's what I strive to do as much as possible, because it's truly the only way to just live, I feel. And dang, I really wish I could remember the whole Rockefeller
But
thing.
because that's where it stems from, and she was kind of solidifying what Rock Nation is going to be in this new era.
Oh yeah.
Moving along.
Moving on. But yeah, so make sure Billboard was the one who got the interview, so if you guys want to go and check that out, that was a really good interview to read. I'm getting my notes while we are waiting. Let's take a little break for our sponsors. Um so we have Annie and Co. candles. We have peppermint lit. We had that one lit last episode. You know, but we're in the holiday spirit though. It's freaking it's December, it's the end of the year. Christmas is coming, Santa Claus is coming, like freaking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like all that good stuff is happening right now. So it's all over. So we have peppermint lit today. Shout out to Annie and Co. Like I said, you can always head on over to their website and get their candles, and you can use our promo code ANC 19A. That is our promo code. I'm putting that in the I'm putting that in the description for real. It's usually in the description. You can always click the link. And also his and hers hair studio MIA. You guys, the link is also there, so where you can make an appointment with our homegirl Ashley, who is so cute because she's out in Disney right now. I'm super jealous. So yeah, because she's like celebrating her. She's about to get married soon. So hey, oh, I found the links. I found the link so I can say it and sound professional. So for Annie and Co. and the best candles ever, organically made in Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to New York. Annie ANIYNCO.com. And to make your appointment with book your appointment with Ashley is glamgodmiami.glossgenius.com. She specializes in coily, curly, wavy, natural hair. She also does all different types of hairstyles, so don't think that she just limits to that. She does it all, ladies and fellas. She also can hook you up with the haircut if you need one. And also shout out to Carlos, which is Hav's barber, which is her man. So you know it's a whole family business type of thing. Cool. So now that that's out, now that we had the word from our sponsors, I wanted to talk about reggaeton. So a couple weeks ago, I went out and the music was amazing, but I didn't know the songs. And I did not like that one bit. It was not sitting well with me because I am a Latina. Unfortunately, I don't always listen to reggaeton music. I have been on record here saying that I don't like Spanish trap, but here I was dancing to all the songs and really catching a vibe and really, really catching a vibe and was really annoyed that um Evelyn, who was with us, knew all the songs and like the lyrics and got down in the parts you get down to, and here I was just like freestyling freestyling the dance moves because I never heard the songs. So then you know, I just went on Tidal and just downloaded like just went on like on a little reggaeton like binge and listened to a whole bunch of songs. I know them now. So 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 so, so catch me outside. So catch me outside knowing all the words now. But basically I say that to say I am so proud of how far reggaeton music and just like Spanish like hip hop music has gone. Cuz I remember when it first began and how much it's just transformed. It's kind of like just seeing how much hip hop has changed. But yeah, definitely just seeing remember like growing up and seeing the music videos, and then The Roof. It was like a really cool it was like a music video show that I would watch that Julissa Bermudez would host, and I loved her so much and I was like I want to do that shit. She's another girl that I hella look up to cuz she started there, and I remember seeing her there and like hosting it. And you know what's crazy, how EFN was one of the DJs on that show. It was on this channel called Mundos. Remember that? Yeah, that was lit. Damn. Damn, those were the days, man, when you can like go and watch like somebody hosted a little like music video TV show, like, okay guys. And then so you got to see the music videos all at once, so you knew what songs were popping. Now we all have the liberty of watching and listening to what we want. A lot of those shows, what happens is those are the ones that are being pushed the more. Labels are more behind. It's like there's a music video for it. So and then it was more like this is what we want you to listen to, as opposed to now where we have all of these DSP services. Hey.
Know that word?
It's episode 99. We're gonna set the vocabulary up. um, we educated. And so yeah, so definitely, so I just seeing that, and then seeing the growth of where that was from, and then the music videos and the artists, and Daddy Yankee, the transition that he's done from like the first time that I heard him, and hearing him now, and then the type of artist that he is. And like I was speaking to Javi the other day about this, about Osuna, like how Osuna has in this project that he released 2 weeks ago, super dope project is Ni. Oh damn it, Ni. What is the name of the album?
Nubu?
No, it's not Nubu.
I don't know the name of
I
it.
think it's Nibaro. Hold on, let me
No,
see. I
it's
got it.
N-I-B.
It's Nibiru. It's Nibiru. Nibiru. It is Nibiru. Well, he has a couple good features on there. He has Diddy and he has Snoop Dogg. He also has Sway Lee featured on there, as well as some of the other reggaeton artists. But the ones that stood out the most to me were Diddy and Snoop Dogg, because I, as a hip hop fan and just a fan of music, is like, what the fuck? He got Diddy and Snoop Dogg on his album. Like, you know what I mean? Like, of course, Diddy and Snoop, they're more open to being on certain tracks, but they're not just gonna get on anything. You know what I mean? And they went on the tracks and were rapping in English, and in the songs that were Spanish. Osuna never changed, his what he was saying. Like, that's something that I also admire, and I've said on here as well, is that he doesn't stop talking the Spanish. Like, even though like in interviews and songs when he's featured with an English artist, like he doesn't change his the language that he is rapping in. And I love that about him, and I got to really witness that in the album, because I listened to the whole thing and I really enjoyed it. And my favorite song is Hasta que salga el sol, because that's gonna be me on the cruise. I'm gonna be partying till the sun's out. Yo, I swear I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna watch this episode when it drops, and I'm gonna be like, damn, bitch. Cause yeah, cause I would have already been, when this episode drops, I would already be back. So that's pretty funny. It's gonna be crazy watching that. Um, but yeah, so just like him having those two features was pretty cool to me, and it also just reminded me, like, yo, like, think about this, like, this is a Puerto Rican. He was born in Puerto Rico. He wasn't born in America. He was born in Puerto Rico. He probably came, from poverty, or they don't live, maybe he's not living the life that he didn't grow up living the life that he is living right now. So when you grow up in that type of environment, when you see like American artists, like I see that when I go back to Nicaragua, like I see like how people react to like certain artists, and Diddy and Snoop Dogg are very big names. Like everybody knows who they are. Like it's not just like they're not just anybody. They're like, there's Diddy and Snoop. So I just think about that and put that into perspective, and was like, wow, like look at what music can do to your life. Like music can literally like take you from, just like, be living in Puerto Rico to an international superstar, working with Snoop Dogg and Diddy and having them featured on your album, and kind of like that stamp of like, approval of like unison. And just big ups to like Diddy and Snoop, because I mean, this look at the longevity in their careers that they have. And it's because, not that they make themselves relevant, but it's because they're willing to bridge the gap. They're willing to work with who's working. they also just love what they do. So that's something that is very admirable, and a lot of artists should take note of that. If you want longevity, you might have to hop on a Spanish song. In short, you might have to jump on a Spanish song. And so yeah, what I was talking to my nail lady, shout out to my nail lady, she hooked me up with these bomb ass nails. Y'all see me talking with my hands like crazy. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe and hit the little bell that we get notified every time that we drop a new episode or a new video or a new vlog. We do it all here. This is the episode where I'm gonna really flex. I'm gonna be a little more cocky than usual. Maybe it's because I'm also delusional and starving. Yo, I was trying so hard to not eat because of the cruise, and then I couldn't stop eating because I was like anxious about the cruise. So I just gave up and was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat what I want and just enjoy life, because what else is there to do when something like that happens? Okay, so I recently found something out and it kind of annoyed me. It annoyed me a lot until I realized that I shouldn't have gotten annoyed. And so this brings up the question of, when you find out something about your ex and they're in a relationship already, like you're over this person and everything, but when you find something out about them, like after the fact, like, is it bad if you're like mad about it? Like, is it bad to be mad about it? Cause it's like, yo, you really was trifling. Like, I ain't even with you no more. But just like, and that's how I felt. And so maybe I'm like just trying to justify this shit in my mind, because I'm like, I am over like this person, but it's like, dog, really? Like, you did that? Tuh. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Cause that shit was trash. First of all, when I found out with him, and we weren't together, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just like, yo, I'm not gonna keep disclosing anything else. But I do want to know, like, if like after the fact that you break up with your ex and you find something out that they were doing while they were dating, because this wasn't while him and I were dating. This doesn't even matter. But it did like irk me, and then also made me come up with this, like, this question that is like, like, what's up, like, is it okay or is it not okay? Like, would you even get mad? Like, would you be like, man, like, I'm not even with you anymore, but I can't believe that you were cheating on me while we were together for 6 years. You know what I mean? Like, that's some wild shit to find out, like, even after you've healed. Like, because sometimes you heal, and you heal from that relationship, and you never believed that they cheated on you, but then you find out, like, 2-3 years down the line, that they were cheating on you, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, I gotta reheal. Because I thought that this was something true for 6 years. Like, we didn't even break up because of that. We broke up because of something completely different, which then in essence kind of is why it ended. Because listen, God be looking out for you a lot. And sometimes when we don't see something, he takes us out a different way. That's happened to me before, not in a relationship, but just in like in some circumstances that I've been in, is that like I don't want to leave, and so God will like even God turns you into a different person, and that different person does certain things that gets you out of it, and you know and then you find out that they cheated trifling. Dog, man. People are bad. People are horrible. Because I'm not even gonna just say that it's dudes, because I'm pretty sure that that can happen with girls too. Like, we both ain't right. This episode is not gonna be called "We Both Ain't Right," because I had the we both. What is it? We both ain't shit or something. Something. Yeah, we both ain't shit. Um, I did want to give a shout out to Having Spits for being in last week's episode. Always a pleasure having them. We did talk about some of the funnest experiences that we've had on the podcast. And I definitely want to bring up one of the experiences that I had, which was with Detta, which we were we were talking about we were talking about R. Kelly and how they need to take him into like the tunnel. And because every time that I see her, you have to go back to that episode. Every time that I see her, we always laugh at that part. Cause, cause yeah, cause I was just like, hello, 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 cause R. Kelly's in the tunnel. So yeah, so there's an echo when we're trying to like, are you okay? Okay. You're sick, sick. So every time I see her, I always like laugh at that. Like I always laugh at that. We always laugh at that shit. Another fun moment was Trees. Every time that Trees came on, because he would always sing. Like even if we weren't recording, he would sing, and like in between breaks, he would sing, and I love that because I love singers. Another. I'm trying to think of some other moments. Oh, when we've had the freestyles as well. Those have been dope. Those have been dope. Those were dope as fuck. Cause it was Ashton Martin who did it, and then John Fitz did it 2 times. He said he did it once, and he's just like, hold up. I'm pulling up again. Hold up. And Ashton Martin's story was an inspiring one too, cause he was broke and poor. He was homeless, and rose up out of that. So that was pretty dope. Dang, what else? I don't know, man. It's been quite a blessing, man, to have been doing this for 99 episodes. And yeah, they never thought I would make it this far. Oh, I have a list of songs that came out in 1999 with Cash Money taking over for 99 and 2000. When that song come on, you know what's about to go down. Oh man, what a good year. I remember everybody was like hella tripping. What I love is that I like associating the episodes with you with the year. But I don't know how I'm gonna do for the 100s. Cause what am I gonna say? Like there's not 19 what? Do we start back at one? Do we like 2000 and 2001? Nah, that's gonna sound crazy. I think cause you know how you abbreviate the nines, the 1990s, like you say 96, 98. What are you gonna say? Oh, well, you do say '03, but then it's like starting at. Oh, I think I just came up with how we're gonna do the episodes now. Yeah, I just thought of it. No, but I kind of want to keep the 200, the 100, because I was thinking of just doing the 00. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself, and I'm dripping too much sauce on y'all right now. Songs that came out in 1999. One of them I'll tell you is Heartbreaker, which is one of the best songs ever. Because it's Mariah Carey and Jay-Z, and Jay-Z goes the fuck off on that in his verse. He said she wanna rub in the jacuzzi, rub up in the movies, access to the old crib, keys to the new whip. She wanna answer the phone, tattoo. What? Scribble down, I hate ya. And she knows she loved Jay because she loved everything Jay say Jay does. And yeah, he went hard. Living La Vida Loca came out that year. Genie in a Bottle came out. These are songs that I basically grew up with, so there's that. If You Had My Love by Jennifer Lopez's first single.
Which was sampled by, right? Isn't it the sample on Teenage Mirror?
It is. Um, My Name Is by Eminem also came out that year. You Drive Me Crazy by Britney Spears. Oh, remember that song Wild Wild West by Will Smith? Also came out that year. Yo, Will Smith has gone off on a lot of movies and songs. He's like, I'm gonna drop a movie and a song with a video that's like the movie. I feel it. I feel it. Some of y'all need to take notes. From Willie, Big Willie style. Um, there's some, oh, So Anxious. Still Dre came out that day. I mean, Still Dre came out that day. Still Dre came out that year. Yeah, and there's some other songs there too. Satisfy You by Sean Combs. Ooh, Where My Girls At? From the front to back, and what you feeling that? Put one in. Can you repeat that? Trying to take my man. See, I don't need that. Yeah, this is definitely a solo episode. You see how like there's no interruption of me singing? Like I could just keep going or I could keep rapping. Yeah. You see, they don't be letting me be great. Okay. So, I'm going to transition to something a little down. But I did want to talk about this because it was a question that I felt a lot of us don't really talk about. So, I hope in talking about it, you think about it. So it is, what is the hardest thing to cope with in life? Um, I feel like the obvious answer is losing people that pass away is one of the hardest things to cope. I have been fortunate enough to be able to cope very well with death. And I guess it's because I have just come to terms that it's just a part of life and it's something that you shouldn't be afraid of. And so for me, that's the obvious answer that I feel like, some of you may think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But another thing that I would think is hard to cope with is wow, there's a couple things I would say. Some people, it's hard for them to cope with, a breakup, being cheated on, um, you know, uh, falling in love with somebody and not being able to be with them. Those I think are pains that some of us hate so much that we avoid, that we don't even want to fall in love because we're like, shit. I know what that pain feels like and I don't want to go through that again. So you shut off love and it's like it's over for that. And I've done that before cuz I'm like, yo, I already know how that feels like. I'm really not trying to go through all that again. Like I remember feeling like my life couldn't go on anymore because of a freaking breakup. Like, not saying that, like, obviously, like, now it's different because my mindset is different. I was younger at that time and I didn't really know how to cope with anything in life. Like, you just don't know how, excuse me, you don't know how to cope with certain things when they happen. Until they happen, you don't know. So, I would say something along those lines, like of a breakup or like a heartbreak. Something that was very hard for me to cope with was moving here, actually, from California. That was something that was hard for me to cope with. It wasn't until I became damn near mid 20s to realize that, okay, like, girl, this was the best thing like ever for you. But when you're younger, you don't understand. You're just like, okay, first I just thought we were just moving to where I had to take the bus to school, and now it's like, no, we're moving to like we're on a plane. I can't take the plane to school. Why are we going so far? Like, we're still on the plane. It's been 8 hours. Like, what is going on here? And so that was something that was hard to cope with. So it's kind of like maybe like separation is also, something that's hard to cope with. I would also say, I spoke about this last episode where it was along the lines of like people using you. You know, you give yourself to somebody in however which way you want to give yourself to them, and you're being nice to them and you're treating them well, and your intentions are very pure, and then you find out that their intentions, that wasn't reciprocated. And that can also be something that would be hard to cope with, because it's like, what's wrong with me? Why are people taking advantage of me? Or should I change? Should I stop being so nice to people? Should I like become cold-hearted and not allow anybody to come in? I've also been a victim of that, to where I've been used, and it's just like, oh my God, like, I are you being genuine with me right now? Like, are you just here for the moment until you can get what you want from me, whatever that may be, and then you're out? So there's just so many different things that I feel that are hard to cope with. And I gave a couple. I gave a couple because we just don't know. Like I said, like, I asked this question so that way you can think about it and kind of see in your life what is it that it's hard for you to cope with. Is it, be having been broke? Is that hard to cope with? And just maybe like find out what it is, and for the next time, or yeah, for the next time you have the discernment to be able to make a decision maybe differently, so that your coping mechanisms and coping patterns don't continue to be bad, because sometimes the way that we cope isn't that healthy, and it's not very good for us. So therefore, it's good for you to find out what is hard for you to cope with, so that way you kind of like have it under control. And I'm not saying that you have to have everything under control, but I feel like once you can have that type of relationship with yourself where you're asking yourself these type of questions and having these kind of conversations, like, I know it sounds crazy, but you have to really understand, like, you are the person who talks to yourself the most. You're literally, you wake up and you're talking to yourself. Like, you're talking to yourself all day, because it's just like, okay, what do I have to do? Do I have to do this? Okay, to this more when you wake up, okay, fuck, I have to get up. No, thank God I have to get up. So you're like, I have to get up. So you get out of bed, and then it's just like, okay, now I have to go brush my teeth, and then of course there's certain things that are just second nature to you, but they're, for the most part, you're talking to yourself through all of them, or you're singing a song, either or. And basically, so you're just talking to yourself, and if that talk isn't good, like, just imagine that outcome. Just imagine that outcome. Like, that's why last week's episode was everything is fine, because everything is fine. And that's something that I just kept telling myself, because I really get ahead of myself sometimes. Like, I get way too excited sometimes, and it's like, girl, you need to calm all the way down and stop. Like, there's certain things that happened in the past couple of weeks that I remember I freaked out so much about. And then now, when they happened, after they happened, it was just like, wow. You freaked out so much for no reason. And now look at you. You're just awesome. You had a great time. You did all those great things. And yeah, so that's pretty much something that I did definitely wanted to talk to you guys about. Like I said, I just want to open the conversation in your brain. And also, you can also have that conversation, with your friends, and because it's also good to know what other people have a hard time coping with. um Also, just, drop a comment, let me know what's hard for you to cope with. Okay, so school is something that we've all had to go to. Like, it's a requirement. Like, they will take your parents to jail if you were not in school, and that's pretty crazy. I remember when that when that first started, like, there'll be cops, like, like, literally cops. Well, I think this has been for forever. Like, if you were caught skipping or something, a cop will pick you up and, like, take you to the school. Did you ever hear about that? I never was a skip. Like, I didn't skip like that. Like, most of the time that I skipped, my mom knew. I was that child. And then I grew up and then became a rebel. I was like, fuck it. I'm over it. You guys snoodled me for my whole life. I just came up with the word. Lord. But yeah, so basically, like, school, they teach you shit and you learn, and you're supposed to take notes. Ask me what I remember. Nothing. What I remember is what I made in my scrapbook that I look at whenever I want to. Like, that's what I remember. I don't really remember the work that I actually did, what I learned. Nothing. Like, it's been pointless to me. Maybe the math. My mom taught me that, because really, like, that's who was teaching me. Because I would go home and learn that. So, the question is, what's the most important thing to learn that they don't teach in school? Something that I think that is very important that they don't teach in school is personal development. That is, like, number one. Personal development. Another thing that I think that they need to teach in school that they don't teach in school is how to do your motherfucking taxes. Because cause that's what I'm doing. That's the math I'm doing right now. And I'm trying to figure shit out and doing all that stuff. And they definitely should teach you how to do your taxes. Or at least give you the knowledge about your taxes and how important they are, and where you can go for help, or just an idea, you know that way. That was,
Little clue.
yeah, a clue, something, because you hear your parents talking about taxes, but they don't teach it to you. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I can possibly be speaking for other people as well, because I'm the voice of the people. Let me say that one more time, because I'm the voice of the people. Because I said that too low, like they didn't hear. They probably didn't hear me in the back, huh? They didn't hear me in the back. But yeah, so that's the so personal development for sure. Cause man, I didn't learn that until I was like 23 years old, and I wish I would have learned that at a younger age. That's why I said a couple episodes ago when we were talking about kids and like values and stuff that we would give our children is just like self-love and like becoming the best version of yourself and reading and just developing that character of just becoming better and learning more and striving for more and learning more about yourself so that way you can become better, not for anybody but for yourself, because that's more important. Like, yeah, math and English, and because you do need you I say that I don't remember the work that I did, but I did learn, because when I'm at work or whenever I learned how to read in school. Like I learned how to read with my mom. So my mom taught me so much. Shout out to her. But yeah, so those are just things that like they should definitely teach in school. And another thing, what would you say, have something that they didn't teach in school that they should have taught or that they should teach?
Um, how to talk to yourself.
How to talk to yourself. You know how they had the counselors and stuff in school? The counselors, I feel, should have been more like therapists. Because I felt like the counselors were just there so that you can complain, to change your class, tell you that you're not going to get into college. Um, and if you got into a fight. Those are the only times I remember going to my counselor's office. Like, I didn't get into the fight. I was a witness. And then they called me in. I didn't like that. I ain't no snitch. But yeah, so definitely
Me out there telling.
but that shit was crazy. I remember what had happened though.
What had happened?
That shit was after the bus. That shit was crazy. Like we had just gotten off of the bus. Some shit went down. How that shit was crazy because it didn't even happen on school grounds, but school like the administration at school were the one who were basically in charge of like the whole freaking little shebang. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Dog, life is crazy. I'm just thinking about like middle school shit right now, and I remember that this girl, she like hit my history teacher. Dog, shout out to Mrs. Madrigal, Miss Madrigal. She was cool. She was the reason why I knew about DJ Khaled's birthday celebration that he would have every year, because she would go to it because she knew him. Dog, your hip. Imagine your history teacher being cool as fuck with all these people. That was so cool. Damn. You see, I was made for this. I even had a cool history teacher. History teachers were always lit. History teachers are science teachers if they were young. They were young. They were pretty lit. But shout out to school and shout out to all the teachers because I'm sure that we have some teachers that listen. I was in no way trying to disrespect, because I know now schools are very different, and I'm sure the teachers, especially like new age teachers and the teachers that I went to high school with that are teachers now, I know that their teaching methods are very different. So I was saying from my experience what I would think that they should teach in schools, because I never learned that in school. I learned those things later on in my life, not giving the teacher that responsibility, but it's definitely something that I feel like it should definitely be taught in schools, because I know like I feel like in China or in the Philippines, I know in Asian countries they do teach like personal development classes, and they also teach like I could be making this up, but it's along the lines of like love yourself classes, like how Hav was saying, or like talking to yourself. But yeah, like they have those type of classes that I always thought were interesting. And then like I like giggle, like the first time I saw it I giggled, But then I'm like, damn, I wish they had that here because it's pretty dope, like, or like even behavioral, like things, like behavioral classes, like how to behave and stuff like that. I'm not saying that your parents can't teach you that, but there's one way that you behave when you're with your parents, and there's the way you behave when you're out in fucking society. And that is a fact because I noticed that. I was thinking about that because think about your parents, okay? Your parents raised you a certain way, and they can only hope that once you go out into this beautiful world, that you stand still with those values and everything that they taught you, and then like you're just the opposite of that. Like they raised you a certain way, and then there's some parents who will never know that their child is that way, and that's wild as fuck. Like that your parent doesn't know like how toxic you are, and that was just something that I was thinking about today cuz parents are going to love you no matter what. Literally no matter what. I have seen my parents love me no matter what, and that's been one of the biggest blessings I've ever had in my life is that they have just loved me no matter what. And unfortunately there's some parents who don't do that, but for the most part, yeah, like some parents will never know how toxic their kids are, and what they have them out doing. That saying like, "Oh, I bet you he wouldn't talk to his mom like that." Or like, or like if that's something obviously that is for a man, a woman, like you wouldn't kiss your mama with those lips, you know what I mean, or something like that. Is that the same thing? That was the same thing. Because I said you wouldn't talk to your mama like that. But it's like you wouldn't talk to your daddy like that. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know how to talk to my daddy. Shout out to Player. Shout out to my mom. I feel like I can't stop shouting those two out. They're the best. But yeah, so there's like certain things that even, oh man, perfect example. I have bomb ass conversations with my dad all the time. So he's like one of the best people ever. My mom too, but this isn't about her. It's about my dad. I had a conversation with my dad a couple years ago. Um, that he didn't know. He didn't know that I was doing certain things until I told him. And he was so surprised. He was like, I can't believe that. Like, I thought that you were being so strong during those times. I thought you were being so strong during those times. And like, he spoke very highly of me. And I was like, wow, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But I was very trash and I did not love myself. And so I did a couple things that I shouldn't have. So, yeah, so like just think about like thinking about that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy the lives that we live. And that's why now as I'm older, it's like if I can't tell my parents, I shouldn't be doing it. Like period. If I cannot tell them, if I cannot go up to them and be like, I did this, then I should not be doing it. But I'm the type of child that even if I did do it, it would come out. Like I would tell them. Because I don't tell them everything, but we're close. We're close cuz I truly believe in your parents are the people that you should be the closest with, and that's just because you just don't stop learning from them, and you don't stop learning from them even when you're older. So it's important to have those type of conversations with them. So again, shout out to my parents. Y'all the best. Um okay. And so for the favorite tracks for the favorite projects. You know, I ain't gonna lie, this shit is hard. Doing solo episodes and being as tired as I am, yeah, it's a little difficult. It's a little difficult. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I appreciate it. These episodes are always fun though. I try to be as transparent as possible because fuck it. Something that I noticed is that I need to stop being shy sometimes because I got super shy one time and I got called out about it. because I was nervous. I got called out about it. So I was like, damn, girl, you need to get it together. And so there have been times in this episode that I got a little shy. So there's transparency for you. Actually, I like, I get really nervous. Not like nervous, but like, I'm like, how am I gonna do this? Like before the leading up to the episode. I think maybe that's why I'm recording this at 2:30 in the morning because it was like, well, we can also blame Spitz since he's not here.
Or you can blame the heat.
We can't. Oh, for real, cause the Heat game, my dog was hot cause of the Heat. Get it? Worth the wait. Records taking over for the 99 and the 2000s. I'm mad that song wasn't on that list. Who made that list that they didn't put that? That song should have been number one. Should have. When did that song drop? I actually think that song dropped in February of 2000. If I'm right, because we've celebrated the anniversary of that song on here. That's how you know that's my shit back. That ass. Um, fuck. Oh, player, listen. This shit came out in 1998. I'm sleep. I'm so sleep. You couldn't see my reaction because of the microphone. That's why it wasn't on the list. Apparently, motherfucker came out in 98. Shout out to Manny Fresh for that beat though. Okay. So obviously, so favorite projects of 2019. It's that time where we get serious about the projects that dropped in 2019. I have been defending this project since June, July 1st, I would say. The Chris Brown album, one of the best albums of the year, my opinion. Don't care if you don't agree with it because I have been defending this album all year. I mean, since July. Okay, so the Chris Brown album was really good from beginning to end. I listen to the entire thing all the time. I always find a new song that I really really like and that I really enjoy, and it's it was an album that I could just listen through to straight through. I didn't have to worry about anything. There was something for everybody. There was slow songs, there were fast songs, there were reggae infused songs. They Tyga's featured one of my favorite features. Juvenile's also featured Juicy J. There was other dope ass features in that project that are super good. Tory Lanez was in that project as well. So that was a really good project. That was project. It was a good project. I loved it. I loved it so much. And everybody who has laughed at me and said, I can't believe you listened to that whole project, you're asleep. And I'm very sad that you did not get to experience that project, that album, because it's a really good one. I didn't listen to the extended version. Sorry. Um, my cap was 34. I didn't think I could get another ones in me. But yes, another project that I really liked this year was Shea Butter Baby by Ari Lennox. Man, when I tell you that I played that album so many times this year, like it's insane. And every song reminds me of something a different time in my life. That's even the best part of it too. Cause like Up Late reminds me of New York, the day of my birthday. Yeah. It reminds me of that day of my birthday because I woke up that morning and I was feeling myself and I put that song on and I was just like getting it. I was like, yeah, girl, it's your birthday and you feeling these vibes. And yeah, it was just yeah, that's a really good album, and it really opened my ears to Ari Lennox and who she was, and it introduced me to her, and I love that it introduced me to her in that way because it's such a good project. On last week's episode I said that FaceTime was one of my favorite songs of 2019, and that song was on that project from beginning to end. Like I said, really good. Ari also told us to not date these dudes until we 40. Don't till you're 43. Yeah, that's what she said. And who's tripping? She's tripping. I read somewhere that men don't fully mature until they're 43. So someone said that she was onto something. That's crazy. Imagine if that was true. I don't believe it's true because I have a brother. So I know he's mature. Um, so yeah, I don't believe that, but I mean, some men never mature. So there's that. Another favorite project of mine, of course, is the Summer Walker project. These are, I might have to break these down into R&Bs and then like rap, and then even throw in like a little reggaeton because I it was just a really good year in releases. So yeah, so the Summer Walker album, I haven't stopped replaying it since it dropped. I listen to it damn near every day and probably replay it. Shout out to Chloe Money, who I listen to it all the time, and we be singing in the office. Like we just feel all those lyrics that Summer like just said. Um, oh, I saw her perform. I think on Jimmy Fallon.
Cool.
Summer Walker.
Oh yeah.
Summer Walker looks like that girl who's really good in karaoke, but was forced to go on stage and sing the karaoke. That's who Summer is. That's the conclusion that I've come up with. Because I've heard that she's not a good performer. I wouldn't care because I just want to hear her sing. And if you just but have she literally Hob and the viewership and listenership, guys. Um, she just had her hand on her hip and her hand on the mic like this and did not move. She only moved to shake Jimmy's Fallon's hand and then went back.
Kind of like it.
I fuck with it. Minimal movement guarantees you won't fall. Guarantees you won't hurt your feet. Guarantees you always look good because you have your hand on your hip. Hey, so, when the hand's on the hip is a little, you look a little different. Girls know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I mean, shout out. That was a really dope project. Another one was Sirs. Yeah, that was a good one. The Recipe is my favorite song on that project. Sirs project was really good. Another project that I really enjoyed was Oasis by J Balvin and Bad Bunny. That was a really good project from beginning to end. Like I've been listening to it nonstop the past couple of days, and I was like, damn, this is such a good project, and they got nominated for a Grammy for it. So can we get a round of applause? Latino gang gang. Hey, Bad Bunny said, me pongo un Rolex como si fuera un Casio. For those of you who don't know, he says that he puts on the Rolex like it's the Casio, like those little digital watches. Like that shit ain't nothing. Like damn, I'm trying to get my daddy a Rolex, and he over here stunting. He over here flexing like that on it. Oh man, that album has so many good punch bars. Like man, like when J Balvin goes, beso, from demasiado beso. I sound like Spitz right now because I can barely speak, and I'm trying to rap right now. Diabla, tú habla. Bueno, because he says, tú sabes bien que te quiero dar tabla, pero que muerde casi nunca ladra. So that whole part he says, when he says, tú sabes bien que te quiero dar tabla. Tabla, for those of you that don't know, means wood. So there's that. Like how Hob said, there's that. We got an album from Ross this year, Poet of Miami 2. That was a really good project. Wale dropped a project as well. That was another favorite of mine. Rick Ross's project has the song with Summer Walker that was really good, and I felt like it was slept on. I know he's coming out with a video for Nobody's Perfect. Is that the name of it? If you've gotten this far, thank you. It's actually called Nobody's Favorite. I was gonna say Nobody's Perfect, but I was thinking about that. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But you're perfect for me. What? She snapped on that shit. Good song overall. Um, yeah, so we got an album from Ross, an album from Wale. Wale's album was one of my favorites from this year. He's coming out with the video for my favorite song on the project, LOVE dot dot dot. That's my shit. Yeah, y'all know I like that shit. Love Wale. Another project that came out this year. Let me see what else came out this year. Oh, Jesse and Sky came out with a project this year that I really enjoyed. Um, I found out that she's not that like I guess she's not that popular when it comes to music because she's a model. I guess I'm not sure. Um, I'm not sure. Oh, BJ the Chicago Kid came out with a project this year that's really good. I think that Snow Allegra. That's it. That's my list. Snow Allegra. We're gonna wrap it up with Snow Allegra, because that was a really good project, and I've been listening to it like like a lot, so many times. Okay, so I wanted, since we're getting close to the end of 2019 and the end of a decade and entering a new decade, I love the internet because they make everything a thing. Like, oh, it's the end of the decade. And then so everybody's posting their tweets from 2010 and seeing what's manifested. I fuck with that so hard. Um, Unfortunately, in 2010, I had no dreams and aspirations, didn't know what the fuck I was going to do with my life, and probably dropped out of school on like college already, so I did not know what was going to happen. But there's definitely a lot of growth, so I might have to find a tweet, kind of flex real low key. I saw Vontae. Shout out to Vontae NYC. That's the homie. Um, he said his biggest flex was losing a whole bunch of weight. And I have to piggyback on that because I got in the best shape of my life this past decade, and made a change in my diet and actually just the way that I would eat. But yeah, so I think it's really cool that everybody's just doing that and kind of seeing what manifests, because now we have the technology to where it's like a time capsule. Before, you had to make a time capsule and then bury it and then take it out of, bury it up from the ground and then see what you put in the time capsule, and then you just find shit. And then now you can go back and see what you thought in, like, on August 22nd, 2011, you thought, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And then now the apps are doing it for you, that it'll take you back to that day from that year. And your phone can do that too. Like, if I want to go back to December 22nd, December 22nd, 2014, like, if I still have those pictures in my phone, it'll take me to those pictures that were taken on that day. So that's pretty cool. But one thing that I wanted to speak on was something that I wanted to leave in 2019, like a toxic trait that I really need to let go of. And I'm saying it on here because you guys know that I use this platform as an accountability partner. Because if I say it on the podcast, it's like, girl, this is recorded. You said this, get it together. And I need to give up procrastinating, as I say this at 2:55 in the morning. Yeah, procrastinating. It's been the death of me. It hasn't been the death of me, but it has been stressful. It is something that the thing that happens is that if I procrastinate on doing something, it still gets done. So then that's my excuse of procrastinating. It's just like, oh no, it's gonna happen. Like, the past week, I didn't make an appointment to get my nails done. So I was possibly gonna have to go somewhere else to get my nails done and not with my normal person. And that was gonna break my heart. And then because I procrastinated and didn't make an appointment, I would have had to have gone somewhere. But then, lo and behold, God, always looking out for me, the day that I wanted to get my nails done, the time that I wanted to get them done, an appointment opens up. So I get my nails done with the person I wanted to get my nails done. They came out bomb, and I procrastinated and I still got it done. So it's like, girl, okay, but you still had to worry about that. And then that's something that I also want to let go of as well and leave in 2019, and actually just in this whole decade, like, is the procrastination and well, it was procrastination and Worrying. Yeah, worrying. Worrying will get you old. Worrying gives you wrinkles too. And I don't like wrinkles at all. I'm learning that more. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't even like them on my clothes. So there you have it. Yeah, how what's that time looking like? We have reached the Yo, I'm dying to have the NWO podcast on here. I told them. And we're gonna make it happen. Maybe not for episode 100, but we're definitely gonna make it happen. And you guys are gonna see why I'm obsessed with them. But they do have a segment in the thing that in their podcast that is just like, we have now reached the ask a real question. Yeah. But we've reached that time in our program where we are ending it because it's about that time. Man, before I let you go. Okay, I've sang enough for you guys today. I think I have enough footage of me singing or rapping on today's episode to drop a mixtape. And if you do that, cool. I ain't gonna do it. What was I saying? But yeah, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I'm tired. My boss had the nerve, the audacity to ask me why I was tired. Sir, I worked my ass off this past week. What you mean? Okay, so yeah, so I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for another year of doing this because even though we are reaching our 100th episode, we're about to be approaching our second year, our second anniversary of doing this podcast, which I'm extremely grateful for because the past 2 years have been extraordinary. They have been the best past 2 years of my life, and I wouldn't change them for anything. The only thing that I want to go moving forward into this new year and even these new episodes is really just not giving a fuck, like, at all. That's why I keep sharing with y'all. And you guys probably know shit about me that you shouldn't. Or that, others wouldn't share. But at the end of the day, I don't care. I just want to be myself, and I want who I am as a woman and as just a human being to shine. Whether you're listening or whether you're watching, I want you to feel what I'm saying. I want you to know that I ain't making this shit up. I want you to know that it's authentic and that, I'm not perfect and I'm not special either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't do anything grand to accomplish what I have accomplished. I just been me. I've just worked hard. I've just, you know, followed a vision and, accomplished something great, like 99 episodes. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. What the that's insane. That's insane. Like I said earlier, I'm just grateful for my 12-year-old self for having like this dream. Because gosh darn it, it really happened. So we got 99 problems, but an episode ain't one. And for the 99th time in a row, it's your girl Audi 3000, and we are out of here.